Welcome back to About Our World, the series where we discuss the natural world and global issues. Today's topic is something we should all be aware of: the water crisis. Worldwide, around 700 million people are affected by a lack of clean drinking water, and it's a statistical fact that 6 million will die this year. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention of America says that every year 801,000 children under the age of 5 die due to water-related diseases. If you have access to clean drinking water 24/7, which most Americans do, you might not understand the problems posed by dirty water. In the top 10 countries most affected by the water crisis, over 50% of each of their populations lack basic water services. This number is the highest in the African nation of Eritrea, where over 80% of the population lacks clean drinking water. This problem is the most common in the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa. The water crisis is a massive problem because it both spreads deadly diseases and worsens poverty in developing nations. Bacterial epidemics like cholera, polio, and typhoid can all trace their roots to contaminated water. All three bacterial illnesses are contracted through the consumption of food or water that is contaminated with the respective pathogen. Since developing nations can lack a proper way to get fresh water, many women and children are forced to walk miles to the nearest body of water and bring back water for their families. Often, these water sources are dirty and contaminated, causing this disease to spread. For example, vaccines for typhoid were only recently brought to Africa, and vaccine campaigns are only started once there is an outbreak. Along with water contamination comes water pollution. In farming, pesticides are used to protect crops from pests and parasites. These pesticides are very toxic, and when washed into bodies of water, makes the water toxic as well. This affects all the plants and animals living off that body of water, including humans. These pesticides are so toxic that they can make people violently ill. The water crisis also worsens poverty in developing nations. Because women and children have to spend hours each day getting water for their families, they don't have enough time to get jobs or go to school. This severely hurts the economies of these countries. On top of that, the sickness caused by the contaminated water shrinks the workforce, further disturbing the economy. If these people had access to clean water inside their villages and towns, there would be a reduction in the spread of diseases tied to water contamination, and it would open an opportunity for women to go to work and children to go to school, which would hopefully improve the economy. However, one of the most economically devastating branches of the water crisis is water shortage. Over 70% of our planet's surface is covered in water, so it's easy to assume that there's a lot of it. However, only 3% of that water is fresh water, and only 1.2% of the fresh water is safely drinkable from the source. That means only 0.036% of the water on Earth is safe to drink from the source. Water shortage means that communities have to conserve whatever water they get. This causes a devastating blow to agriculture, as without enough water, their crop yield could shrink immensely. In areas with constant drought, agriculture is very hard, and people are unable to make a living and provide for their families. However, a lot of people are doing something to help improve the lives of those who are affected by the water crisis. Organizations are directly helping communities by giving them the resources they need to lift themselves up. Not just charity, but actual volunteering. People stepping up for no personal gain, but just to help others. Volunteers aren't the only ones who can help. You can help from your own home. Use water responsibly. We shouldn't take the things that we are given for granted, because there will always be someone who needs it more than us. So instead of dwelling on humanity's negative traits, let's look to the positive, because helping each other is just one step in the right path. I'll see you next week.